What if I told you that you could manifest way more into your life with less effort? If you're anything like me, you've been in grind mode so long, and the first thing that you would be wondering is like, is this too good to be true?
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
This is what you can expect in today's video, so let's jump right in. First, I want to start off with a little analogy. You can either be the metal or you can be the magnet. When you change your own energy and your own vibration, you're able to become magnetic and draw in the things that you want instead of chasing after them all of the time. I was doing this for years. I was always trying to chase things that I wanted to bring into my life, but they would always move faster than me, and it always left me frustrated, tired, and exhausted. Since we're talking about energy, I want to be more specific. We're going to be talking about your divine feminine energy. So I want you to have some contrast here. There is a wounded feminine as well, and there is some healing work that is going to be done if it's your first time seeing this. So here on the screen, I'm going to show you, this is the wounded feminine. You're passive, too yielding, victimized, insecure, manipulative, attention-seeking, poor boundaries, sacrifices self, overly critical, needy, desperate, doesn't trust self. In the divine feminine, we have a woman who is receptive, grounded, empowered, trusts herself, nurturing, prioritizes her own self-care, open, strong-hearted, emotionally resilient, intuitive, reflective, and supported by life. I know what you're wondering. You're like, okay, that's great. I know where I am now, but how do I put this into action in my life? Like anything, this is something that does take practice. There is healing work to be done. And just the fact that you were able to see what exactly the divine feminine versus wounded feminine looks like, you're going to be able to have that in the back of your mind. And then subconsciously, this is already something that you're going to start to work towards. Did you know that if you're aware of a problem or aware of a specific goal, you've done already 80% of the work just by having the awareness there? Our minds are so powerful, and when we give our subconscious mind a target or an aim to go towards, you're gonna notice, like, in the weirdest times, in the weirdest moments of your life, you're going to be moving towards it without even consciously thinking about it. It is so powerful. So just the awareness that you have just gotten on your divine or wounded feminine energy, you can place yourself in those categories in different times of your life. Obviously, you can't expect to be 100% in your divine feminine energy all of the time, but this gives you an awareness on when you're actually shifting into your wounded feminine energy and the things that you're able to do to get yourself back out. Just like anything else, this is something that is going to require baby steps, and it is sometimes something that can take a little bit of time. For me, back in high school, I was a completely different individual. I didn't have a clue on what divine feminine energy was, and even if I did, I don't even think that I would want to embody it. That was the level of person that I was dealing with in high school. This is when my personal development journey started, because around this time in my life, I was drinking, going out, making all of the wrong decisions. And inside of me, I had this consciousness that was just speaking life into me, and it knew that I was doing the wrong thing. And just that awareness of the problem was literally the mustard seed that I needed to grow exponential results into my life in the years to come. Years after that, I made it my mission to focus on money and making money. That way I could put myself into my divine feminine and attract a provider into my life. This is something that I learned, and it is very powerful, because you don't always want to have to be the protector and the provider. You're not truly in your divine feminine, but when you have systems and strategies to be able to implement them into your life, that way you can kind of chill back in your divine feminine energy and be more grounded. Have time for your spiritual practices, be able to read, have slow mornings, get done up on the weekends. These were all things that I had in my life when I was single, and this is what made me a vibrational match to be able to draw in another provider. That way I didn't have to worry about these things anymore. What my healing journey looked like for me was that I wanted to surround myself with beautiful, positive energy. If it was not beautiful, if it was not positive, if it was bringing any kind of negative vibe into my space, I wanted it out ASAP. It even came down to the music that I was listening to. All of my vices were gone. All of the negative people in my life were gone. In my environment, it was clean. It was beautiful. Everything had its place and everything was in its place. On the weekends, I would focus on getting done up. That way I could feel good about myself, and I was consistently working on my goals. I did write a list of the person that I wanted to attract into my life. I also wrote multiple lists of all of the other things that I wanted to attract into my life. What kind of successes I wanted, the place that I wanted to live, my dream apartment, the money I wanted to make. I got very clear on all of these things. And then I began to ask myself, what kind of woman would be able to draw in all of these things into her life? Because at the point that I was at, I knew that that woman was not exactly in alignment with attracting all of those things into her existence and keeping them. This is a very key point that I don't want you guys to skip over because it is so important. You need to fully understand where you are now, be honest with yourself, and have that self-awareness enough to admit this is where I am honestly, and these are the areas that I need to grow. And then come up with a personal development plan for yourself to be able to grow either those character traits, to change your energy. Maybe it's implementing more self-care for you. Whatever that thing is that you see that this really needs improvement, you just focus on that. And like I said, you're gonna be taking baby steps to make improvements in those areas of your life. And now I wanna go over a few mistakes that a lot of people make when they're on their journey to personal development. The first one is you're manifesting this money, you're starting to have more success, and you're not investing in yourself. You're not giving yourself a budget to buy different clothes so that you can feel better and be confident in that. You're not giving yourself a budget to do your hair, get your nails done, to buy jewelry, to get your makeup. And I'm not saying that your divine feminine has to have these things. And I'm not saying that you have to have your makeup done every day for you to be able to be successful in your life. But what I'm saying is that there needs to be a certain amount of resources that you have that's allocated to making you feel better and also grow as a person. So rather that is investing in yourself when it comes to your hair, makeup, jewelry, nails, or rather that's investing in yourself in terms of like growing your network, getting around different people, doing spiritual or yoga retreats, buying different books, going to courses. It doesn't matter what that thing is, but the resources that you have been creating, there needs to be a percentage or a portion of those things that are reinvested into yourself. An analogy that I heard that has always stayed with me was about the goose who laid golden eggs. I remember, I think it's probably like a fairy tale or something like that. But anyways, they had this goose and it laid golden eggs. And then they didn't take care of the goose and they beat it. And then eventually they stopped feeding him and then he died. And then they were like, oh my gosh, now we don't have the golden eggs. Well, of course you don't, because you didn't take care of the source. And so this is why reinvesting in yourself is so important. You can't be draining yourself, making yourself feel like shit, pushing yourself to your absolute limit all of the time without having that reward system. Yes, you definitely need to have discipline and you need to push yourself, but then on the other side of that, you need to have some kind of positive, constructive reward for yourself. The next common pitfall I see a lot of people get stuck in is not knowing exactly what they want. Their goals are too general and it's more of a direction than a goal. If you just say you want to make more money and you find 5 cents on the ground, technically you've attained your goal and your subconscious mind will stop paying any attention to it. If you say, I want to become a millionaire, then your subconscious mind understands that we need to have $1 million to be able to fulfill the goal. In Six Figure Fit, I have a life mapping course that breaks it down A to Z. I remember when I was personally trying to figure out what I wanted in my life, and when I started removing a lot of the limiting beliefs, thinking I can have literally anything that I want, I kind of had a moment where there was too much abundance and I felt like I had a blank canvas and I had no clue what to put on it. With our Life Mapping MasterClass, I give you questions, prompts, and I actually break it all down into categories for you. I was looking through so many mentors and different tools and resources, and this is actually something I've never found anywhere else. So I created this for you guys. I'm gonna link it down in the bio. You can check that out later. The last pitfall that I wanna mention is that mindset. Creating a different energy, becoming a different person is something that is going to be practiced and put into use every single day. This is not something that you write on a piece of paper once and then you shove the piece of paper in your desk drawer and you never look at it again. You have to be consistently focusing and putting active, intentional attention to what you want to create every single day. And when you start figuring out what exactly your goals are, you're going to start to have these daily habits and steps. These cannot be looked down upon. You really need to be looking at these daily goals and routines as the stepping stones that are going to bring you towards your goals. I hear so many people be like, oh, I hate the process, or I really don't want to do it today, or nah. And they have so much negative self-talk. Like, you're a pussy ass bitch because you look at the things that are bringing you to the next level in life. You're literally like throwing shit on it and shaming the next steps in your life. So it's self-hate. It's hate towards everyone that you're actually complaining to. And then it's hate towards God and creator and source, because you're like, yeah, God, I don't want to become the person that you sent me here to be. I don't want to evolve on my journey. I just want to be like, fuck you. I want to stay exactly the same. So you need to be focusing on those steps, on those daily habits, and looking at your mindset as something that needs to be worked on every single day. I have one bonus tip for you guys, so I am going to lay it out here for you. One thing that I've learned when it comes to manifesting, you want to be focusing on one specific goal or area in your life. That way your subconscious mind and the universe can work a little bit faster for you. I know that when we go into our life mapping course, there are going to be a lot of things, but I want you to really focus on that one thing that calls you the most and that you believe is attainable in the next year or so. Something that you believe that you can call in. That way you can really channel your energy towards this one thing. Once you get it locked in, then you're able to move and focus on something else, because your focus is a very, very powerful tool, especially when you're manifesting. All right, guys, I will see you next week.